Gentlemen, as we are watching on Netflix live from our homes here in Sault Ste. Marie, Backlash is live in St. Louis. We just saw Gunther make his way into the building. Now we have Lyra, Valkyria. It is the PLE Patrol. I am OMD and we are ready for some Backlash. I'm hoping Mr. Best will be along very, very soon to join me. We have only 5 matches on the show tonight, but that is okay because it is quality over quantity, and each of these matches is going to deliver tonight with repercussions to be seen and felt throughout wrestling for quite some time. So the last time the PLE Patrol joined you, I was unavailable because it was WrestleMania. I was busy with my son. We saw the now 17-time world champion John Cena win the title to set the record. And it was the following night we saw him take an RKO from Randy Orton. St. Louis is Randy Orton's hometown, people, so we know that this is going to be an incredible match to main event the show. As well, ladies and gentlemen, we have both the men's and women's Intercontinental Championship matches. We have Dominik Mysterio once again defending his title against Penta. Then we have the Irish Lasses, Miss Lyra, Valkyria, and Becky Lynch for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. Are we going to see any shenanigans in either of those matches? Absolutely. Lots of rumors and speculation about who may or may not return or show up here tonight. We will find all that out over the next few hours. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, I thank you for joining me as we are now making our way inside the arena for the show. And how do we kick things off here tonight? Wow, what a way to start the show. The fatal 4-way for the United States Championship. We have LA Knight versus Damian Priest versus Drew McIntyre versus Jacob Fatu. What a banger to start the show off with. I was actually had this one pegged as the co-main event, if not into that main event slot, over John Cena and Randy Orton, just because of the star power involved. And I believe Yes, in all but one match tonight, there is a title on the line. And ladies and gentlemen, let's address the match that we haven't got to yet tonight. We have Pat McAfee for the first time in 3 years, leaving the commentary booth to get in the ring as he goes one-on-one with Gunther. Drew McIntyre slowly making his way to the ring with that menacing scowl on his face. And you know what I wouldn't give? I've had the opportunity to attend PLEs, ladies and gentlemen. I would love to attend a Backlash. I was just recently at the Elimination Chamber, which was held in Toronto earlier this year. And I have been to WrestleMania. Tonight, to be able to feel the fallout, because this is the big one for the fallout from WrestleMania, and it's going to set the path to Money in the Bank and SummerSlam. Ladies and gentlemen, again, we are getting the intros. This is a huge, huge match to open the show. And it's going to be interesting. What do I expect to come out of this match? I do expect Jacob Fatu to retain the title, but this is going to be a knockdown, drag-out fight. There is bad blood between Drew McIntyre and LA Knight. Anybody who knows their history knows they were part of a faction together a number of years ago in TNA. They were part of the Rising. And it was LA Knight at the time, he was Eli Drake, who turned his back on Drew. And now Damian Priest is making his way to the ring. Is Damian coming out in his trench coat as well, or is he just coming out? Oh, he's got the coat. He's got the coat, and we wouldn't expect anything less. Again, ladies and gentlemen, this is not what I had on my bingo card to open this match. But Damian Priest and LA Knight just last night were in a tag team match where everything fell apart for them. Drew McIntyre, of course, has history with Priest going back to last year's WrestleMania when Priest cashed in Money in the Bank. That eventually led to a Sin City street fight at WrestleMania just last month. And now here we are. So there needs to be some sort of resolution coming out of this for both of those men. Jacob Fatu defeating LA Knight at WrestleMania for the US title. And it was Drew McIntyre who won a number one contenders match with LA Knight via disqualification from Damian Priest, which is how we got to this four-way. And now it is time for all gas, no brakes. Y'all know what I mean? Fatu. As we get the arrival of the Samoan werewolf here. And ladies and gentlemen, this is an interesting experience for me. This is my first time soloing or hosting a PLE Patrol. I'm hoping Mr. Best will be here shortly to join me. I'm not sure. We will find out together, ladies and gentlemen. And Fatu carrying the U.S. title to the ring in the style of Umaga's. He's got it around his neck instead of over his shoulder or around his waist. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, this is one fall to the finish. This is not an elimination match. So, ladies and gentlemen, sit back, relax, because the PLE Patrol will deliver all of the hard-hitting action and analysis to you live as we see it. The crowd firmly behind Jacob Fatu in this match. And LA Knight jumping the gun on Fatu. Drew McIntyre and Damian Priest involved in a slugfest, and they're already going to the outside. This is going to be very fast-paced, very hard-hitting, ladies and gentlemen. It is going to be very hard to keep track of everything going on. All the comings and goings, wheelings and dealings. Oh, LA Knight with the neck breaker coming out of the corner. All right. Oh, LA Knight seemingly taking control early of this match and getting the jump on everybody. Oh, here comes Damian Priest. Oh, kick to the midsection from LA Knight and a DDT. And a double elbow drop from LA Knight onto Priest and Drew. And here is Jacob Fatu. Oh, Jacob misses the small drop and the reverse DDT there from LA Knight. Quick pin attempt there, but it was kicked out of before the ref could even get down for a 1 count. Fatu now starting to take some control. No, never mind. Now we're going to get... No, I thought we were going to get the ping pong battle, but we got a high-low from Priest and LA Knight on Jacob Fatu. Drew McIntyre starting to assert himself in this matchup now with 3 neck breakers consecutively to all 3 individuals. And the kip up. I keep waiting, ladies and gentlemen, when Drew McIntyre does that to go into the old style bow that one Triple H used to do when he was Hunter Hearst Helmsley. What else does this match have in store for us? It's already been hard-hitting, and we're only a few minutes in. Damian Priest with a Hurricane Rana. What a move. It was not something I was expecting to see. And then a flatliner from him. Nice round kick to the head of Damian Priest to the head of Jacob Fatu, and Damian Priest looking to maybe go a little old school with a cross body off the top rope to Drew McIntyre and a inside out clothesline to Jacob Fatu. Damian Priest seemingly in control right now, but nobody has really been able to fully establish or take control of this match until this moment in time. LA Knight started off like a ball of fire. We saw flurries of offense from then all three men, and now Priest seemingly in control. Oh. And a Samoan drop to the top of the barricade on the outside from Jacob Fatu to Damian Priest. Wow. Something I have never seen before. Oh, and now we're going to get into the meat and potatoes of this. We are getting a stare down from across the ring between Jacob Fatu and Drew McIntyre. Both men into the ring, just staring each other down. Neither rushing to make the first move here. I like the intensity. I like the direction that this is going. And now we are getting the punch for punch, the boo yay. And Jacob Fatu, hitting that hip attack in the corner on Drew. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, Fatu is my prediction to win. And, I mean, this match, as I've said, it's hard-hitting. Mr. Best is just about ready to join us here, so he will be joining us here momentarily. Oh.
There we go. I'm here.
You are.
This has been a hard-hitting match so far.
It has. How are you today, my friend?
I am over the moon ecstatic. That first day of my shoot job, love where I work.
Good. Good. That's what I like to hear.
Love the people I work with. They're awesome.
Fantastic. That is great news to hear.
Yep.
Yes, this match I did not have on my bingo card to open the show.
I literally, if you saw it in the intro, I placed it somewhere around the middle.
To be honest, I actually would have had this as the semi-main event out of the 5 matches we have for tonight. I would have even put this above John Cena and Randy Orton for the main event, but we also know that it's John Cena's farewell tour and we're in Randy Orton's hometown.
Yeah. Well, anything involving those two going at each other in a match, it's going to be the main event. There's no question about that. But at the same time, you put these four gentlemen on any other card that doesn't have John Cena in it.
Right.
I'm going to just say John Cena because Randy Orton's wrestled matches where they weren't the main event.
Right.
This could be a main event match.
What a swanton there from Jacob Fatu.
Yeah, I just got to say, like, because I watched the stuff on the phone while I was catching the bus from Tim Hortons to work.
Right.
Just from the start of the bell, everything's just been all gas, no brakes, as Jacob Fatu puts it.
It has. It has been hard hitting. It has been intense.
And when you do a match like this, it raises the importance of the championship that they are going after.
Right.
Even Drew, a man who's been obsessed with going after the WWE title, showcased how important the US title is last night when he kicked Jacob and he stood there with the title hanging from his hand.
Absolutely, he did. He showcased how important this match was to him even early on when he hit the 3 consecutive neck breakers and was starting to take control.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I was going to say, do we see an unexpected Claymore there? No, but the Future Shock.
And I've got to admit, like that Samoan drop that we saw earlier from Fatu to Priest on the barricade outside, something I've never seen before.
I've seen him do that in MLW a couple of times. It's not a move he brings out often.
Right. Wow.
For a second there, I really thought Drew had it. I didn't even factor in. I didn't even factor in Damian being there.
Right? Because there is so much happening in this match, it's hard to keep track of all of the comings and goings, the wheelings and the dealings, and who's where and what is truly going on. So yes, we lost track of Damian Priest. I love that elbow to the standing position.
Mm-hmm. Jesus, LA, I thought he had it just now.
Right? Right? I know you're in the same boat as I.
Damian and Drew brawling through the crowd.
Yep. I know you're in the same boat as I am. I know we discussed this last night with figuring Jacob Fatu is going to retain the title.
Mm-hmm. Well, because it's clear right here that Damian and Drew are like very far from done their business. So
yep.
LA Knight, I feel like he's gearing up for a match with John Cena, possibly winning the Money in the Bank.
Yeah, I think if you're going to, I think if we're going to have to get some finality to Priest and Drew, I think we have to do that in 2 weeks at Saturday night's main event.
See, I'm not even sure if that's where you do it either, because you could have these two enter the Money in the Bank and continue the feud through there, thus leading to the finality maybe at SummerSlam.
You could. But again, it's as much as I am a fan of long-term storytelling, there are times that it seems to go on too long. And I think that this is going to be one of those situations that we need to get the finality with sooner than later.
Now, speaking of Money in the Bank, as I mentioned, LA Knight and his quest to become the WWE champion, if that's going to happen, a scenario popped in my head when I thought of that. And you know, my early pick for the Money in the Bank is LA Knight.
Yes.
And I thought of this. I thought this was a cool one, just right off the top of my head here. But John Cena, right, he plans to carry the title all the way until that final show in Boston in December or wherever it is. Now imagine John Cena defends his title, wins it, and he's like, okay, I'm going out. I'm done. See you guys later. LA Knight's music hits, cashes in.
Right.
Bam. You built a star right there.
You have. I don't think you want John Cena going out so unceremoniously. I think in his last match, I think it's better if John drops the title before that final match.
Mm-hmm. But here's the thing. What is the one wrestling tradition when you retire?
Oh, I know.
You go out on your back. If you hear the meowing, it's Pepper. She is just over the moon excited to see me. She hasn't seen me since 6:30 this morning.
Right.
Oh, Solo's out there now.
Yes, he is.
He must have pulled Jacob off the table. Is that?
That is. Wow.
Why is my name drawing? My head drawing.
That is
right
Jeff
now?
Cobb, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. We all expected him to sign, but the question was when.
Wow. Not something I expected in the opener.
But now Jacob's unsure about this. And just like that, Jacob Fatu retains.
Right? Wow. What a four-way. What a stunner there for the beginning of the end of the match. And what a surprise. Is this a sign of things to come for the rest of the show?
Yeah, but I'm looking at Jacob Fatu and like he looks so uncertain about this.
Yep. But we also know that Solo said we need to have a game plan going into tomorrow. And Jacob said, no, my plan is just to run straight through all of them. So
it's almost as if Solo didn't trust him on that situation.
You know, we've seen the cracks in the foundation of Solo and Jacob and this new iteration of the bloodline. And now Jacob walking away. So are we getting that face turned from Jacob already? And Solo's starting to try and be more of that street fighting badass again.
Yeah, because if I'm being completely honest, I really thought the turn was going to come from Solo. But yeah, as far as my shoot job today, it was just easy breezy peasy. I know it's only the start of the season, but we had like next to no customers.
Right. So it gave a lot of time to learn.
Mm-hmm. I just basically walked around the little store that I'm in. It's just a little convenience store, learned everything, tried to figure out where things go, all that kind of thing. I was already entrusted to be left on my own on my first day because like the point of sale system, it was nothing to learn.
Right.
They do it through like fucking iPads as opposed to the old analog way. So it's just like bring the product, there's the price. You don't have to punch it in yourself.
So we are seeing an ad for June 28th, Night of Champions.
In Saudi Arabia. Did that say a Sunday or a Saturday?
I'm not sure. I missed it. All I have to do is pull up the old calendar here. And we will find out. June 28th is a Saturday.
Okay.
And it is to my understanding that Night of Champions is replacing the King and Queen of the Ring this year. But you could see... Oh, no, I guess not. You won't see the Crown Jewel titles defended there, but you never know.
No, because it's whoever the champions are walk in and they fight each other. Whoever wins those matches becomes that year's Crown Jewel champion. Or not Crown Jewel, the Night of Champions, because that's what Night of Champions is. It's
Night of Champions is every title on the line. Crown Jewel last year was the first year they did the Crown Jewel Championship.
Yeah, so that's going to happen in Perth for sure. But right now we've got Intercontinental title action coming up, and it's a match I've been looking forward to for the last couple of weeks. In one, Lyra Valkyria versus Becky Lynch. I'll tell you one thing, though. OMD, I'm kind of jealous of you a little bit here.
Okay.
So that drive north to go to because I got to go towards Wawa, as do you, to go and pick up your boy. What a beautiful drive that is.
Right?
Yeah. Well, actually, I get to do it every day now almost.
Yep. And you know what? Like, when I go up north to Wawa and Dubreuilville, coming home, it's even nicer.
Oh, with that sunset when I was riding home, the sort of sunset that was starting.
Yep.
I was just like, my coworkers were talking to me, and I was kind of listening and just going, yeah, yeah. But at the same time, I'm just marveling at how beautiful it is up there. And the beauty of it is I get to enjoy that all day when I'm out there.
Right.
Because my coworker and I were we were remarking how we're the only store that can actually see the beauty of everything around us. Because it's a little well, I'm sure you've maybe swung through there a couple of times, but to anyone who doesn't know, it's kind of like a little strip mall that I work at. Or a trading post, essentially. That's what it is. But I had a lot of people coming in and asking about the smoked fish that they sell at our store.
Okay.
And sadly, we didn't have any in stock until tomorrow. Hopefully tomorrow.
Right.
We didn't have a lot of things in stock because of well, I found out why that delay happened as well.
Okay.
The Thursday shift that I was supposed to work there, the delay happened because of the washout that took place.
Okay. Yeah.
Nobody could get up there. There was only like a handful of people that could get up there. So my boss was like, "Yeah, we're just gonna call it."
Yeah.
But I tell you who's not going to call it: Becky and Lyra, because they are going to go all out in this match.
They are. They are. Now, with where you're working, and I've got to ask because, if I'm coming through, I typically stop at Batchwana to use the restroom there on my way up north.
Mm-hmm.
So, are you at the place before, or at the gas bar where it's last gas for 150K?
It is I think it's just after that sign.
Okay.
So I take it there's probably going to be a time or two that I'll see you pop in.
Probably.
One thing I loved about where I work too is in our little convenience store, there was candy there that I haven't seen since I was a kid. So I was like, I turned to my coworker, I'm like, on payday, I'm buying a bunch of these candies because I haven't had these since I was young.
Right. Well, I have to admit, I got home and I was, it was a long, slow day at work for me as Becky Lynch makes her way to the ring. And I'm sitting on the couch. I got my laundry started. And as always, as is normal for me, no matter what night of the week, my eyes begin to get heavy and I start to doze.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm making sure to keep an eye on the time and all of that, knowing that, okay, if I'm up, make sure my eyes are open at 6:30 so that I can get ready, get myself focused for this show. Because I wasn't sure what time you were going to be back. I know we talked briefly.
Yeah, because I didn't even know. Because I honestly don't know the weekend city bus schedules. So got somebody in the crowd who holding a sign saying "My first PLE." Soak it in, man.
Yes,
that's all I got to say to that fan.
It is an experience you will not soon forget. Ask Mr. Best. I still talk about WrestleMania from 18 years ago.
I talk about SummerSlam 04 and Unforgiven 06.
Right?
I do fully intend on going to another PLE. I'm aiming to go to the Royal Rumble, not in Saudi Arabia. That's not happening. But I do want to go to a Royal Rumble.
Yep. I've actually had a friend and former coworker who is originally from the Middle East, who has been to a crown jewel, has been to a couple of those big events over in Riyadh. This marks Lyra Valkyria's first singles match on a PLE, I do believe.
Yes, I believe so. Oh, so I got an update to my work schedule too.
Okay.
I'm not working Thursday.
Oh, nice.
What had happened was like we were the main boss came in and we were just sitting there. We were talking the schedule and she's like, "What have I got you scheduled for, Chris?" I'm like, "You've got me scheduled for the next 6 days, all the way till Thursday." And she's like, "Really?" I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Well, I might have to take you off for Thursday because I'm pretty sure I overstaffed for that day."
Okay.
I'm like, "Okay, do what you got to do."
Yep.
And she comes back in a couple hours. She was like, "Yep, I did overstaff. You're not coming in Thursday."
Okay. Bonus day off.
Yeah. But you know who's not getting a day off? These two women.
That's
And
right.
Becky already just asserting her dominance here.
Yep. Going for the ground and pound, the attack from behind.
Lyra shouldn't be surprised that Becky is out wrestling her, to be honest with her, because
No.
she did kind of a surprise look to there.
Yeah.
Because if you take a look at Becky's experience is going to come into place at some point in this match.
100%. Oh, and Lyra to the pendulum. There's just something about that move that draws me.
When I was watching her do that maneuver, I'm like, "Oh God, my shoulder." Because, well, for everyone out there, I've been having shoulder problems as of late. So,
And now to a surfboard.
well, right now, like we talked about Becky on out wrestling Lyra. Now Lyra's out wrestling Becky.
Yes.
Stretching her every which way possible.
Both women having to perform the kick out there because both had their shoulders on the mat.
Yeah, but I think Jessica was counting Becky's shoulders on that situation. At the same time, good on Lyra for kicking out because she couldn't exactly see where Jessica was.
Yep, exactly. And what a shot there from Lyra has Becky Lynch on the run.
Well, Becky may want to run some more. Not the time to taunt, Lyra. You might want to keep on, Becky. Now, who do you got taking this one?
I have Lyra retaining tonight, to be honest.
I do too. And as much as you know me, I'm a gigantic Becky Lynch fan.
Yes.
But I think Lyra retains it solely for the fact that I know you've said that Becky is fastly becoming Charlotte, coming in, getting the title shot. But the difference, and I'm going to say this again, the difference between Becky and Charlotte is Becky puts people over.
Yes, but again, you're misquoting me there. She's getting into that same spot as Charlotte, not becoming like Charlotte. And it's not needed. Yes, Becky can truly help elevate that title, but Lyra is doing a fantastic job. And this, again, much like we saw at WrestleMania with Charlotte versus Tiffany Stratton, this is that rub that Lyra Valkyria needs.
Yeah, and this is going to be the star-making match for Lyra. And I wouldn't be too opposed if Becky asks for a rematch after this. Because Becky's job here, if the case is that Lyra is going over, Becky's job is to put over both Lyra and the belt.
Yeah. Now, I know we just had a shocking debut in the opener with Jeff Cobb. Do we see the return of Bayley from what happened going into WrestleMania in this match?
Yeah, see, that's where I'm trying to figure out. I know that Becky was the one that admitted to attacking her. So I'm trying to figure out how she could do that interference. I know it's just run down and beat her up, but I'm trying to make it make sense as far as this match goes, you know?
Right. I don't even think we need Bayley to come down and beat her up. I think we just need Bayley to cause the distraction.
But one scenario I kind of just thought about. So let's say Becky Lynch does win the Intercontinental title tonight. You have Becky come out on Raw, taunting with the Intercontinental title. Lyra is like taken out, like Becky beat her to a pulp, we'll say.
Yeah.
So you have Becky come out, she's with the title. She's gloating on Monday Night Raw, just being like, "You're not going to beat me." Who's this gentleman?
I believe that's actually Lyra's mom.
Or okay, person. I thought it was a male. But no, you have Becky coming out celebrating with the title, saying nobody can beat me. Blah blah blah. Bayley shows up then.
Yeah. Parrish and I were discussing this last night post stream. And we are thinking potentially you get a triple threat match either at Saturday night's main event or at Money in the Bank.
Yeah, because there's the other thing I think about too is if Bayley does show up and gets herself involved in this match in some way, what if Lyra's not too happy about that? Like, what if Lyra does this? Says she wants to prove to herself that she can beat Becky on her own, which we already know that she has done.
Yes. We also have to wonder, because we do have this draft coming up, but we have so many events now coming up all in such a short amount of time, starting tonight with Saturday night's main event in 2 weeks and Battleground the night after. Then you're going to Worlds Collide and Money in the Bank on the 7th. And then just 3 weeks after that, you've got Night of Champions.
Yeah. See, now I'm pretty sure the Night of Champions event will be a afternoon show. Almost
Right.
all the Saudi Arabia shows are
for us. Yes.
Afternoon shows for us. So just going to point it out there. We're both more than likely going to be working that day. So there is a strong possibility that there will not be a PLE Patrol for that.
Right.
That was a beautiful stalling superplex.
It was. And I have to figure out, because if that is my son's last weekend of school, or the last, like, Friday of school going into that weekend for Night of Champions, I may go back up north to pick him up for a couple of weeks for the summer.
Mm-hmm. It is so toasty warm in my apartment. Becky, you made that way too obvious. No wonder Jessica Carr looked.
Right? Becky Lynch showing shades of her mentor, Finn Balor.
Now Becky's just doing this thing like, what do I got to do to beat this woman?
Right? But again, we wouldn't expect anything less from these two.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't the Royal Rumble, Lyra.
Although I wish it was, because I love me a Royal Rumble. I'm serious. It doesn't matter what company. If they have a Rumble match on, I'm watching it.
Yep.
I've even participated in Rumbles, and they can be taxing on the body.
They can. I have been involved in a couple myself, including making it to the final 5.
Yeah, I did a Shawn Michaels British Bulldog. Drew number 1, number 2, went all the way. Didn't win, but went all the way.
Yeah.
I was so tired. And I had a championship match that night, too.
Oh, jeez.
I was at that time I was one half of the tag team champions alongside one Mr. Business, aka Tim.
Right.
We opened the show that night, but we ended the show with the Rumble.
Yeah.
But still, the tag title match that we had, because we were defending the tag titles, was a taxing matchup. Just as this is a taxing matchup for these two women.
It is. Oh, and
Oh, she's got the
Becky,
disarmer. Now I'm wondering if this is a one and done title match for Lyra, and if Lyra retains, I wonder who Lyra defends against next. There's so many different avenues you can go down with Lyra
there
after
is.
this.
I think you go to. I think one of the clear choices would be Lyra Bailey because you need that third match.
Yeah, and see, that's where I thought we were going with the whole Bailey thing, with her being taken off TV. I thought we were going to. Well, if Bailey wasn't going to get taken off TV, I should say, I thought we were going to Bailey and Lyra breaking up, or not necessarily breaking up, but maybe having a match for respect for the Intercontinental title.
Yeah.
Where Lyra retains and Bailey just sort of like Eddie and Ray in 05 when that match at WrestleMania, with that match at WrestleMania 21, where they were like, we don't have a match. Why don't we wrestle each other and see who can win?
Yeah. See, and I actually had Bailey turning on Lyra in the women's tag match at WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
But I also could see potentially Lyra and Roxanne, or Lyra and Julia.
I would be okay with that, but I would also be okay. Like, I'm liking the Lyra Roxanne, or I mean, the Roxanne Julia deal. So I'm kind of wanting to see them possibly going after the tag team titles.
Right. I think if you're going to do that, you have to get. Then I think it should be a multi-team, like a fatal four-way for the women's tag titles. So you get Liv and Raquel defending against the Secret Harvest, defending against Roxanne and Julia, and again, another mystery team.
Maybe throw Meechin and BFAB in there. Why not?
Sure.
So I think that exposed turnbuckle will come into play.
I do too.
I mean, they already teased it.
They did, and Lyra went to the second turnbuckle on that one, so.
Mm. There's just an almost psychotic look in Becky's face right now. Oh, Jessica's been made aware of that. But what is? I gotta say,
wow.
I know you're not really supposed to be watching the official, but I am giving kudos to Jessica Carr and what she's doing in this match.
Yeah, 100%.
But the story of the match so far is that exposed turnbuckle.
Good evening to Radar Line, or Rodar Line, Opoku. Thank you for joining us here. Greatly appreciated. We're watching this on Netflix.
Up in Canada, eh?
Yeah. Yes. Thank you for joining us. Where are you from, Rodar Line? And how did you find us?
Oh, I didn't even. I looked up and all I saw was Becky was rolled up, so I didn't
Right?
see exactly how it happened. Maybe this is how we see Bailey return.
Yep.
And it's hard to say though with all the officials that are now in there. We got Mr. Adam Pearce, Jason Jordan in there, a bunch of referees. And this is a psychotic Becky, though.
Yes,
and a
it
psychotic
is.
Becky could very well be scary.
So wrote our line saying he saw us on YouTube and what's going on? Well, what's going on? We are watching WWE Backlash. Lyra Valkyria just retained over Becky Lynch in a fantastic women's wrestling showcase for the Women's Intercontinental Championship.
I mean, Lyra is the winner, but she does not look like a winner right now.
No, she does not.
Unfortunately, Rodar, we cannot show the event due to copyright stuff. But so this is mainly our reactions that you're going to be seeing.
Yes, this is live analysis and reaction. Okay, so certainly not the dominant victory we thought we were going to see. And wow, Lyra's nose is in rough shape there.
Excuse me. We are from Canada.
Yes. How about yourself, Rhode Arline? And am I pronouncing your name correctly? Oh.
When is Randy Orton versus John Cena? Probably in the main event, so not for another like 2 hours. Or, well, hour and a half, we'll say.
Yeah, well, it depends because, I mean, there's only 5 matches slated for the card tonight.
Yeah, but they've pulled all 5 matches in 3 hours. Sometimes they've done 5 in almost 3.5. So,
Yep. As we look at the Gateway Arch in St. Louis,
one place I would like to visit, and I know that I have a fear of heights, but I actually would go up in that.
wow, we are getting some OVW footage of John Cena and Randy Orton.
It's a match I actually saw. And then I'll look at their last one-on-one match back in 2017. Which was around the time that that would have been John Cena's towards the end of John Cena's full-time career.
Yep. We go from one Intercontinental Championship match to the next.
Penta and Dom. I have a tough time trying to pick this one because there's a part of me that wants to see Penta with it, but I'm also enjoying Dom's run with it.
Right. I love the fact that Dom has the belt. I did have Penta picked to win at Mania, with Dom and Finn screwing each other out of the belt, but we all know how that turned out. And want to give a shout out to our buddy Chris Parrish, who would normally probably be here joining us, but he is competing tonight in his 17th ladder match for Real Canadian Wrestling in Edmonton, Alberta. So break a leg, Parrish, please, not literally. Shout out to you, brother.
Yeah.
This is a rematch from the Raw after WrestleMania, where Dom did retain the Intercontinental Championship over Penta.
Mm-hmm.
Are we going to see more shenanigans from the Judgment Day in this match, or is this where we sort of see the beginning of the end for Finn Balor?
Yeah, is that even really a question? I mean, like, how often have we seen the Judgment Day get involved in each other's matches, right?
Well, glad to see you're back, Rodar Line. I hope you're enjoying the show Backlash wherever you're watching from. And this match was just announced this past Monday on Raw.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, I think we all knew that it was going there, that I think we all had a inclination that it was going to be Penta challenging Dom in the rematch.
Right. Wrote our line. The next matchup is Penta versus Dom Mysterio for the Intercontinental Championship. I don't think any of the titles are actually going to change hands tonight. As we've already seen with the first two title matches. I think if you're going to do that now, you're waiting probably until Night of Champions to make a couple of title changes.
Yeah. And Dominik is the first level boss. I love Dom more than Tendies. Love reading some of them signs in the crowd.
Penta wearing, I'm not sure if it's blue or if it's purple tonight.
It's blue.
And the crowd going ecstatic for Dom.
I think Dom's becoming one of those wrestlers that, like, you hate him so much you love him.
Yep. So far, the Judgment Day keeping their distance, staying at the top of the entrance ramp as Dom makes his way to the ring. Razor Ramon's toothpick hits harder than you.
Just want to say thank you to Google for letting me know what the weather is where I work.
Right?
Not like I've been there all day.
Yeah, and it's probably the same as it is outside here.
Well, it said 7 degrees there, 7 degrees Celsius for you Americans out there. 7 degrees, yep. But I have seen it where that 1 hour drive in I've seen the difference in temperature for that 1 hour drive a few times.
Oh, yeah. Especially as you hit the open highway where the wind can blow and pick up a little bit faster. And
oh, it was really, really windy out there today.
oh, I can imagine. And Penta starting the match off slowly, but I like it. Dom hanging him up, though, on the ropes, and then that beautiful drop kick that all Mysterios have. Oh!
That was beautiful.
Wow.
Flex, Dom. Flex that for sure.
That was gorgeous. Suicide dive into a DDT on the outside. Take care, Road Our Line. Thank you for joining. We greatly appreciate you.
Mm-hmm.
Dom in control for the moment, went for a quick pin there, but Penta just as quickly grabbed the bottom rope. Penta now starting to pick up the face. Dom powders as any good heel would. Nice cross body from the top of the ring post to the outside there from Penta onto Dom.
Yeah. Now we've got the referee administering that 10 count as both men are down here. Oh, I didn't even realize what time it was. As of an hour ago, my work closed.
Ah, nice.
I'm on the same shift tomorrow, but the rest of the days are 10 p.m. to 7:15, so I get to sleep in a little bit.
Right. So Monday you'll be doing the run-in, correct?
Yes, and Tuesday I will not be available for Turnbuckle Talk.
Okay.
I'll have to look a little closer on the bus schedule for getting home as well, just to be on the safe side of things.
Right. Now, what bus is it that goes out there, or is this a bus that they send to pick you up?
Oh, so no, what happens there is we drive the workers all together. We have two set vehicles that we drive out in. So I ride home with either one of those vehicles.
Right.
Then we do the drop off at the Tim Hortons on Second Line and Great Northern.
Right.
After which I then catch the bus home. You know, I'm going to take a look at that schedule right now just to be on the safe side of things.
Oh.
Oh, I just missed what happened.
It was the destroyer on the apron.
Oh, jeez. Oh, and here comes Carlito. Apple in hand. Carlito, Carlito. And there's Finn and Finn and JD. Wait, what's Finn doing?
Finn's getting the chair.
And they're stopping as the referee is like, what are you guys doing?
And throwing all three of them out.
A little bit of an argument between JD and Finn. But you gotta, in this situation, if you're being me, as we're about to see Penta dive over the referee and onto everyone, if I'm Finn and JD, I'm kind of blaming Carlito for not distracting the referee good enough.
Yeah. But then if I'm Carlito and JD, I'm blaming Finn because he decided to delay everything so that he could go grab the chair.
Mm-hmm. Right now, Finn is, oh, okay. We all know Penta's troubles with El Grande Americano lately, but El Grande Americano just made his presence felt, headbutted Penta, and Dom retains.
A beautiful frog splash from Dom. we get a trailer for Doom: The Dark Ages.
I'm tempted to try the modern Doom out. I've been playing the classic Doom games, but
Right.
tempted to give it a try.
While we were in this commercial break, Mr. Best, if you will give me a moment, I do have to go for the patented locker room visit.
All right. And while OMD's on his locker room visit, you guys can also go on a little bit of a visit, but not to the locker room. Go for a visit to carlcarafel.redbubble.com, where you can get yourself your own OMD locker room visit shirt. You can buy all kinds of our stuff there from Turnbuckle Affiliation Program. And speaking of the Turnbuckle Affiliation Program, while OMD is away on that visit, why don't we show you guys everything we've got going on as far as the Turnbuckle Affiliation Program goes? Take a look.
Turnbuckle Studios and the Turnbuckle Affiliation Program bring you the week of streams. All times are in Eastern Time. Monday nights you get the Locker Room Breakdown at 7 p.m., followed by the Raw Patrol at 8 p.m. Tuesday brings you the flagship show, Turnbuckle Talk, at 8:05 p.m. Wednesday we play games with the PlayStation Showcase at 8 p.m. Thursday we got total non-stop action with Brace for Impact at 8 p.m. Friday we game again with Unleashed, the Jessica Wilde story at 7 p.m. Following the game, join us for the SmackDown Security Detail at 8 p.m. The weekend brings you Saturday Night Gaming at 8 p.m. On Sunday be sure to catch the Chris Parrish podcast at 12:15 p.m. followed by the Boar's Nest at 8 p.m. Be part of the shows and join the chat every day.
Yeah, and if you want to visit, if you want to check out everything we've got going on there, just go to turnbucklestudios.org. You'll be able to go there and meet the team, be able to find out everything about podcasting. Reach out to us if you want to do some collaborations with us. As right now, we are taking a look at everything planned for Monday Night Raw. CM Punk's going to be making his presence. Jey Uso, it's been officially announced for Saturday night's main event. Jey Uso will be defending his championship against Logan Paul. "40 years ago, May 1985, Saturday night's main event featuring Hulk Hogan taking on Cowboy Bob Orton.
And I have returned.
Yes, you have. And I believe our next match is going to be Pat McAfee and Gunther.
Yes, this is a very, very intriguing matchup for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm just checking to see how far we are into the card just to be on the safe side of things here.
This will be the 4th out of 5 matches.
We're only an hour and a half into the show.
Yes.
So Gunther and McAfee and John Cena and Orton are going to get some time. But of course, we're showing the history between Gunther and McAfee, which all started with Gunther picking on Cole because Cole's
Yes.
stating facts with.
And then after Gunther gets takes the shot from McAfee, he then grabs and applies the sleeper from behind, which has led to all of this. But let's not forget, Gunther and McAfee have had wars of words over the past year or so on Raw.
And I get why Gunther has done this, because let's just face it, he basically attacked Jey Uso's number one fan, essentially.
Yep.
And I get this feeling that after this match, after Jey Uso and Logan Paul, we go back to Gunther and Jey.
I could see it come SummerSlam.
Mm-hmm.
Provided that the rumor of Goldberg being here tonight doesn't come to fruition.
Second match against a former world champion. I suppose they're counting Adam Cole as a world champion. The guy standing behind Cole with the heavyweight title looks like my buddy Kyle.
Now, I know it's not saying what I think it says on the back of McAfee's jersey. I just think it starts with an M and it ends in the letter R.
I was going to say maybe he's repping the St. Louis Rams, but the St. Louis Rams don't really exist anymore.
No, they don't. Could be a Battlehawks jersey.
True. Well, it says WWE on there, so it's not even any team's jersey, really. And here he comes, a ring general, Gunther.
Can I get Rusev versus Gunther, please?
Well, we more than likely will get that. Please return Ilya Dragunov. Well, when he's healthy, he will return.
Yes, that he will.
All right, let's see what you can do against Gunther, Pat.
Yep, come on, buddy. There's a part of me that wishes Jey Uso was in Pat McAfee's corner for this match.
I actually sort of wish Cole was in Pat's corner. And I know he's in Pat's corner on the commentary table, but I kind of wish that he was actually in Pat's corner.
Yeah.
There is one thing I'm glad about this one, though, is that Corey Graves isn't commentating this Pat McAfee match.
Right?
As much as I love Corey Graves, there's a part of me that's a little bit tired of him picking on Pat McAfee.
We know that Corey's not a huge fan of Pat, but they have, developed a mutual respect and they have coexisted on the commentary desk. More than I can say for Corey Graves and Byron Saxton.
Yeah. Backlash St. Louis post-show immediately following the main event. Unfortunately, I will not be watching that because I will be going to bed.
Yes.
I gotta repeat what I did today tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm off tomorrow, so I'm going to be going to the console and doing some gaming the rest of the night. Oh,
okay. So I shouldn't say that I'm going right to bed because last night after I logged off from talking with you and Parrish after SmackDown, I didn't quite go to bed. I did just a little bit of gaming. I crashed out on my couch here because my alarm, which is my Google Nest, is right here. And as I said before, I don't want to move it to set it up again because it's kind of a pain in the butt to do it.
Yeah. Well, Parrish and I chatted until about 12:30, and then I went to bed. And
But we are getting just well, I was gonna say we're getting Gunther kind of being a bully in this match, as it were.
those chops from Gunther, I would not want to feel one of those.
You know what this is? This is reminding me of, and I said this last night. This is reminding me of Taz and Jerry Lawler at SummerSlam 2000. Remember that Taz basically dominated that entire matchup until JR got involved and helped Jerry with the win.
Yep.
Well, you were there. We both watched it at Blue Liners together.
Yep.
I miss those days, not gonna lie.
Right?
If ever there's a point where we can find a bar in our city that shows PLEs, we got to do just one night of that.
Yep. Believe it or not, I've actually asked at Wacky Wings if they would carry them. But they're like, no, we won't carry them. And yet they up their prices for UFC fights.
What do you mean up their prices?
I've gone in to get a beer and they're like, yeah, it's UFC pricing tonight.
Oh, okay. Because I was going to say, they can't charge a cover for pay-per-views. That's illegal.
No cover, but they up the prices.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the last time I went to Wacky Wings for a UFC pay-per-view was George St. Pierre versus Johnny Hendricks.
Okay.
That was, oh geez, that was 12 years ago. That was a long time ago.
Yeah.
I was in the middle of college at that time.
Yeah. No, it
was GSP's retirement fight. Oh, he's inviting Cole, eh?
I had just had a rough night at work and things were not good at home at the time. And I was just like, nope, I'm going to stop and have a beer. And I still got flack for that.
Mm-hmm. So we got Gunther egging Cole on. This is something I'm thinking about too. I mean, we know I can plainly hear Cole being non-biased in this situation, but Wade Barrett's at ringside too. Let's just say Pat McAfee gets totally beaten up. Gunther tries to pick something with Cole. What if Wade Barrett gets involved?
I'd love to see it. I know we as fans have been clamoring and we've heard potential for a short-term feud for Wade Barrett so that he's not coming back to the ring full-time.
Mm-hmm.
So I would love to see it. And Wade Barrett has never truly been a baby face in the WWE. He was starting to get over.
With the Bad News Barrett stuff, he was getting over with that.
Yeah.
Then he joined the League of Nations, and what a dumb stable that was. I mean, you had 4 great wrestlers. and it just wasn't gelling.
Yeah.
Then they took out Wade Barrett, and it's like we see him disappear from our WWE screen.
Yep.
Now, on the other hand, I have seen Wade Barrett as a babyface, but not in the Wade Barrett character under his real name, Stu Bennett.
Right.
And he can do it. He can do it.
Yes, he can.
Now, he was more of a babyface authority role when I saw that, and that was when he went over to WCPW and became like their on-screen general manager.
Right. And he's been in that babyface role as a commentator.
Yeah. But Pat just laying those kicks in on Gunther.
Yep. And Gunther in there laughing, saying, "Bring it." This is more so that Rocky versus Drago feel in this match.
Mm-hmm. Now, here's the thing. This is something we've pointed this out several times. With how cocky Gunther gets, Gunther's getting a little too cocky here.
Yep.
Gunther always loses when he gets too cocky. Sami Zayn is the perfect angle right there. Remember how cocky he got going into that match? Ooh, the Boston Crab.
Now I've got to ask: are we going to see the towel spot? There you go. You're getting your wish. Cole at ringside.
Mm-hmm. Another thing I thought about is I know that I know this is typically a heel thing, but what if Pat McAfee's buddies from the Pat McAfee show get involved?
You could see it. Depends on if they're there.
Mm-hmm. Oh, see, now Cole's getting involved, and this is what Gunther wanted throughout the whole match.
Yep.
This is where I think it could spell the downfall of Gunther.
Yep.
Oh, I literally thought Cole was going to take a power bomb. That would have been as shocking as when Eric Bischoff took the power bomb. Because I remember just how shocking that moment was.
Yep.
The old Bobby the Heenan spot. The old Bobby the Brain Heenan spot there.
Yep. Oh, and Pat to the sleeper. Oh, beautiful short arm clothesline there from Gunther. Shades of Jake Roberts.
Nobody could deliver a better short arm clothesline than Jake, though.
No.
I think this is the end of Pat, though.
Yeah.
Throwback. What's good, boys? He's coming in saying, "What's good is this match? This whole angle is actually pretty freaking good."
Great to see you, buddy. Thank you for coming in. We are absolutely loving Backlash here tonight.
No, wasn't expecting this. I thought this was going to be the end here.
So did
but
I.
McAfee's fighting out of the sleeper. Oh, right back to it. Yeah, and Pat's gone to sleep.
Yeah. I was going to say, do we see the towel spot? That's sort of what I was anticipating from Cole, but
Cole went into manager mode there.
Yes, Pat, I seen your photos. That looked like an amazing time that you had there.
Now, I did think that this was going to be a way to take Pat off TV, but I realized it's a little too early because college football is still another, 3 months away, something like that.
Yeah. Pat saying, or Throwback saying he didn't get the meet and greet with Adam Cole today, but there's always another time. That's right. There is another time, another place, and another show.
Mm-hmm. I literally said that one time during a CWE show. I literally said that about one of Hoobie's shows. I wanted to go. Sorry, I'm just watching what's going on right here, right now. But yeah, as I was saying, there was one time I remember a Juventud show for that CWE was posting on. This was during my time in college. I wanted to go, had the money ready to go, but couldn't do it because I was in college. We had to get our film projects going. Kind of needed that money to go and order some food for a shoot that I was working on.
Right.
But I'm like, this is like the third time Hoovie has come at that time. Hoovie will come back.
Yeah.
Sure enough, last year I got to meet Hoovie.
Yeah. I didn't get to go to the first Hoovie show because I was working nights. No. I can't remember why I missed it, but then Hoovie, TK O'Ryan, Vincent, and Jimmy Jacobs came into Tim Hortons to get lunch the next day on their way out of town.
Mm-hmm.
So I got to meet them, get the autographs.
I still have to get a Jimmy Jacobs 8x10.
I believe it was the Psychosis show at Sue Blaster's where Carl and I wound up working the merch booth. And that was the tour CWE was doing where they gave away the WCW Cruiserweight title.
Sweet. There's just something that I just totally got excited about just thinking about my paycheck. I'm going to have a lot of money for that show. I'll be able to get a little bit more extra stuff than I usually do.
Yeah.
I might have to bring a separate shopping bag because There's a certain merch table that they have there that where they sell a lot of older collectible items, and I'm
Right.
thinking about taking a look to see what's there next time. As we're getting a promotion for Wheatley Vodka, which is promoted by one Cody Rhodes.
Yes, it is. We get an ad for a double PLE day on Saturday, June 7th.
Not like we've done that before.
Right?
Both shows at the Intuit Dome, and that's where I'd be like, yeah, I'm going to buy a ticket and spend the entire day there. Buy tickets and spend the entire day for both shows.
No, Worlds Collide is at the Kia Forum. Money in the Bank
Well,
is at the Intuit Dome.
Okay, well, I would still buy tickets to both shows and try to find my way to the Intuit Dome afterwards. I'm not sure how far Kia Forum is from the Intuit Dome.
Right. As we look over the skyline of St. Louis, again at the Gateway Arch, it is time, ladies and gentlemen, for our main event of the evening. And what has been a fantastic show with, not as many rumors coming true as we had heard.
As you had heard, I didn't hear anything today. I wasn't even on socials. I was at work.
I was at work. These are rumors that have been running rampant for at least a week.
Yeah, but you know me, I don't read rumors. So but I do know that it has been officially announced that this is going to be the last time we see Randy Orton and John Cena fight.
Yes.
Now, there's one thing I'm kind of wondering when it comes to John Cena and this retirement tour. I'm wondering if after the retirement tour, do we still see John pop up here and there on WWE TV, be it to just promote something he's doing? I mean, we saw The Undertaker say that he was retiring, and he still shows up on TV. So
I could see it. I could even see John Cena saying, I'm going to be in so-and-so's corner for this match.
Mm-hmm. We could see, I could see John Cena coming in, just doing a quick nostalgia thing, coming in, hitting the FU attitude adjustment,
whatever you want to call it,
at WrestleMania or something like that on somebody.
Yeah,
similar to what Austin does. Austin shows up, stuns somebody, takes off.
Yeah.
Similar to The Undertaker. The Undertaker does that too. He shows up, hits somebody with the last ride or a tombstone or a choke slam.
Yep.
And honestly, I can honestly see Randy Orton doing the same thing when he actually decides to hang it up.
Yep.
He's going to become that guy that's just going to pop up out of nowhere, RKO somebody, take off.
To be honest, I see when Randy Orton retires, I see him taking some time, but I see him returning in the GM role.
Now that's something I didn't even think about. So on YouTube, for our viewers out there, you can find wrestling matches from like the 1950s. I've found like a ton of them. I've never bothered to look up Bob Orton Sr. matches. I might have to do that. I want to do that because I want to see if we can see inklings of Randy Orton in Bob Orton Sr. Because when I watch Bob Orton Jr. matches, I see Randy Orton in Bob Orton Jr. If I'm being completely honest and selfish here, there's a part of me that wants to see this PLE end at 9:30. Just so I can get a decent night's sleep and a decent little bit, or maybe a decent little bit of time with my PS4.
100%, but you've gone echoey.
I know I have. I'm fixing it right now.
But no, I am 100% with you. When I realized there was only 5 matches, I was like, that's a relief. Now I'm not, stretching myself thin, because I enjoy, like, don't get me wrong, because I love doing the PLE patrols, but I also enjoy having my Saturday nights to myself. And had I not missed Monday, if Bubba Duke would have been available, I probably would have watched the show at home quietly.
Yeah. I'm just being a little bit selfish on the fact that, like, I know I've got to go to bed to go to work tomorrow. So.
Yeah, no, you're not being selfish, because that's one of the reasons why I try to get off the shows almost right after the stream. It's also why, like, when my son's coming home, I take the shows off, period.
But with the way the entrances are going, this match is actually probably going to start at 9:15. Because Randy Orton takes his time with his stuff. John Cena does too.
Yep. But we could get a similar style match to what Cena gave us at WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm. Oh. No, I was just thinking to myself, I should cook my lunch for tomorrow, but I actually can't because it's too late for me to pull some meat right now. So I'm going to have to do it in the morning.
Yep.
Your first WWE event, eh, little one? Soak it in.
Yep.
My first house show, 94. I still think back very fondly on that show.
Yep.
Even though we only had one championship match on that card, and that was Alundra Blaze and Bull Nakano women's title match.
Yep.
Which, whenever I bring that up to longtime wrestling fans, anytime I say, hey, I got to see them two wrestle each other,
Yep.
they're like, shit, I'm so jealous that you got to see
Right.
that. And then I'm like, well, yeah, well, on that same card, Bulldog and Owen had a match too. And that's when they're like, okay, I want to slap your face.
Yep.
And I'm like, but our main event that night was Lex Luger and Tatanka. And they were like,
Yeah.
hey, we got to see King Kong Bundy. Well, we got to see Bundy twice, you and I did.
Yep.
We got to meet King Kong Bundy.
Yes, we did.
Totally awesome dude, by the way, guys. If you had any chance to meet him before he passed on,
Yep.
just a fantastic dude.
We also met Hacksaw Jim Duggan, man I've had the pleasure of meeting 3 times.
I'd love to meet Hacksaw one more time before he goes.
The funny thing was, the last time I got to see Hacksaw was across the river with Carl Carafel, and he pointed at me and had me, a Canadian, start the USA chant.
Hey, when he wrestled that show that you and I went to at the George Leach Center, he had us going chanting USA.
Yes, he did.
And again, here's the thing. When it comes to Hacksaw wrestling in Canada and he gets that USA chant going, it's not necessarily that you're chanting for the country.
Right.
You're chanting to hype Hacksaw at
Yep.
that point. And here comes our WWE Undisputed Champion 17 times, John Cena.
Where is he? I can't see him.
Yeah, trying to get a look at him, but all I hear is his music right now and just see a blank Titantron.
Right?
And I see a floating belt making its way to the ring.
Right? Backwards.
'81st televised world title match.
Wow.
Career record of 2-3 at Backlash. Yeah, I think he's going to make it 3-3 tonight. He's my pick to win the match tonight.
Yeah, I don't think, like I said, I don't think we see any title changes until Night of Champions.
And like I said, I firmly believe that LA Knight, if LA Knight wins the Money in the Bank, LA Knight cashes in on John. And like I said, I think that would be a cool idea if they cashed it in on that last match that John has.
I think you have to go, if you're going to do it that way, you go with LA Knight cashing in, making it a triple threat match partway through, and pinning whoever John's final opponent is. That way, John loses the belt and still goes out strong.
But here's the other thing too, and I'm thinking if John Cena doesn't lose the title at that last show, if he loses it beforehand, there's a part of me that thinks that after this title run, John Cena goes back to being a babyface.
Oh yeah, 100%.
But how you turn him back to babyface is something I'm not certain on. Maybe we get Rock Cena 3, and that's how you do it.
Yeah.
Now here's the interesting thing here. We've got every time John Cena and Orton have fought, at least by my recollection, Orton was the heel, John Cena the babyface.
Yep.
This is a different dynamic now.
John
Cena and Randy Orton don't know how each other is going to react because John Cena being the heel, Randy Orton being the babyface at this point.
Right. We've had complete role reversal.
Mm-hmm. So in a sense, this is a completely new match between the two of these men.
Yes, it's a new match. It's as you like to put it, it's a fresh feud.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I knew Cena was going to do that.
Okay, Bobby. I knew he was going to do that.
I just knew he was going to do that. He don't need Jannetty. I told you that off and on.
There we go.
You can tell I've watched that promo way too many times. Or that.
Yep.
Well, I mean, it's one of the biggest angles that has ever happened in the WWF. So.
Yep.
But no, it was just obvious that Cena was going to slap him or poke him in the eye or whatever, or kick him in the nuts.
Yep.
Here's the thing. That is something Orton would have done too as a heel.
Absolutely. And actually, that brings up the question, do we see what happened all those years ago where Orton slapped the ref to save the title? Do we see Cena do the same tonight and return that favor?
That's not exactly the way I would want to go out on a pay-per-view, but it is a possibility. Just going to point this out there, but this match is being sponsored by the Weekly American Vodka.
Yes, it is.
We were just talking about who promotes that vodka.
Yep.
No, John Cena's going to take a walk. Kind of throwing some old school heel tactics in this kind of match, because this is shades of the $1 Million Man and IRS there.
Yep.
And as you recall, got to a point where the ref got sick and tired of it, and at WrestleMania 9, during the tag team title match where Money Incorporated defended the titles against Beefcake and Hogan, the Mega Maniacs.
Yep.
The referee said, to hell with this. If you get counted out, you're losing the tag titles, and you're going to be suspended for a month.
Yep.
Forcing DiBiase and IRS back.
Yep. Sign there in the crowd saying, "We are awful people."
Well, because that's what John Cena called them.
Exactly.
By the way, the other day, so when I went shopping for some clothes there, I actually saw at Mark's that they sell jorts. That made me so happy. I'm like, I thought jorts went out of style, but guess not. That made me happy because my stuff, my in-ring clothing was jorts as well.
And you wore the fanny pack to the ring too, didn't you?
No, but I did have fanny packs. So I used to bring the fanny pack with me on when I would actually travel. Hey, though, that you can knock it all you want, but fanny packs are actually fantastic for traveling with.
I love them. I love them.
There were at my job there, at my shoot job, there were a lot of people I saw coming in with fanny packs because, again, we deal with a lot of people who are coming in off the highway who want to come in, get a cold drink, get a bag of chips, whatever.
Yep.
We deal with people who are camping at any one of the many campgrounds that are up there.
Yep. Oh, we are getting some vintage Orton as he's stepping on various body parts.
Yeah. Doing his little tribute to one rugged Ronnie Garvin. Yeah. Didn't think I'd ever bring up Ronnie Garvin on one of these shows, but I did. It's only because just a couple of days ago I was watching a couple of his matches. I was a little curious about how he was in the NWA after not after, but before he signed with the WWF.
Right.
I wanted to see, because when people talk about the worst NWA champions, for whatever reason, Ronnie Garvin's name gets thrown in there. And it's like, to me, that sounds a little bit unfair. So I wanted to see if he actually was a bad champion. There's a yes and no on that one.
Right. It all depends on your perspective.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, we weren't around at that time to be there to analyze the product the way we do now.
Mm-hmm. And the yes and no is on that with as we see John Cena locking in that sleeper hold about Orton escaping it, only for Orton to put one on. They're trading sleepers basically.
Yep.
Is the fact that Ronnie Garvin was always a good worker. He was a great wrestler. He defeated Ric Flair for the title, and it was just he did get a nice pop. He was one of those like kind of for the people kind of wrestlers. But the thing that a lot of people I think of when that makes him or that make people think he was a bad champion was the contenders he got afterwards.
Yeah. Oh, I was going to say, are we going to get the scoop slam? But we got it.
The power slam, man. That's a power slam. And I know I'm going in the dark, guys, but I really don't feel like turning my light on and adding extra heat to my apartment. So
No, it's all good, Brett Best. It's all good, brother.
plus this device needs to be charged so I can have something with me at work. Because there's a big plus to my job, and I will tell you about it after the show. Screw it, I'll tell you right now. I'm allowed to play my own music in the store.
Nice.
In the store, we have a Bluetooth speaker there, and I just, as long as I'm not playing like Slipknot and that kind of stuff, I just put on my 80s playlist for the day.
Right.
Maybe tomorrow at work. Maybe I'll put on the Chris Parrish podcast at work. Maybe. But there's a part of me that expects tomorrow to be a little bit more busier than what today was.
Yeah.
Because we might have a fish order coming tomorrow, and it's a pretty big one. So
Right.
oh, caught him with that RKO coming out of the attitude adjustment.
He did. But Orton not in position to make the cover.
John Cena was smart to roll away a little bit farther, though, after that.
Yep, and get his arm under that bottom rope.
But the damage has been done, and
Yes.
I think that's all Orton needed to do. But the damage was done to both men.
It was.
If you think of that. Oh, the AA kind of came out of nowhere there.
Yep.
It's funny, just looking, John's hair is going every which way right now.
Yep. Cena still eliciting the same response that he always has.
Yeah, and so he certainly gets those chants, but he manages to convert them all into boos at one point or another. He's actually been pretty successful at turning everybody against him.
Yep. Oh,
that was beautiful.
Right?
Uh-oh.
Oh,
Orton
wow.
looking to punt. And right into another AA. Bobby
Stats
Stats
coming in. Good evening, my friend. How are you, buddy?
Hope
Great
you're
to
enjoying
see
the
you here.
show. You know what I was thinking about? Like, I'm thinking as we saw the attempt at the punt there, it kind of brought me back to the whole Randy Orton Kevin Owens feud that was supposed to be going into WrestleMania.
Yep.
How much do you want to bet that when Kevin Owens returns, if Kevin Owens can return next year, that we go back to Randy Orton and Kevin Owens for next year at WrestleMania?
I'm going to say SummerSlam, depending on where Orton is. If Orton's gone back to heel, if KO can return, because we know KO is going to get a huge pop when he returns.
And there is the third AA. But now John doesn't have a referee. John's eyeing something.
He's eyeing
the devious look on John Cena's
right?
face. That was beautiful.
And giving the shh to the crowd.
Oh, he's going to try and attempt to do what he did to Cody.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, but you took way too much time.
Yep.
Referee just said something to Orton there. Couldn't make it out, though.
Yep.
One thing I've thought about with that podium that always sits at ringside whenever there's a championship match, Wouldn't surprise me if at some point we see the wrestlers use that podium as a weapon.
Yep.
And down goes the referee again.
Yep.
I was going to say, and down goes the table, but nope.
Nope. That table didn't move.
Oh, now it's broken. All right, Orton, what are you looking for, my friend?
A
Oh,
table.
a table. Well, the fans were asking for one earlier.
They were.
John Cena is going to get a taste of his own medicine.
Yep. AA through the table from Randy Orton.
And Randy Orton doing what I said I wanted to see a wrestler do. Taking a drink from the Prime bottle.
We are doing very well. Thank you so much for asking, Bobby. It's been a fantastic show here tonight.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, Bobby,
Yes,
he
you're right
showed
about
up
that,
tonight.
Bobby.
What a way to start the show, which I didn't see it coming. I didn't have that match pegged to open the show, let alone.
John's got that championship.
Yes, he does. And there
And
goes
referee
another
number
ref.
2 is down. Another RKO. Okay.
Where's Charles Robertson?
I was
Or
just going to say
Robinson?
this is this thing that bothers me. Okay, why is there like 100 officials coming to the ring? Anyways, I was going to say that kind of bothers me that Orton looked over, saw the referee was down, still went for the pin instead of, trying to wake the referee up, or maybe even going to the outside and getting the other referee.
But yeah, that makes no sense. And now we're going to see all of the backstage officials take RKOs.
Sorry, I had to turn it up I had to turn it up to understand what was going on, because it looked to me that Aldis wanted to throw the match out. Truth is going to eat an RKO. And John Cena just rang Orton's bells.
Yes, he did.
And there, the original referee is now kind of back and slowly crawling his way over. 1, 2, 3. That was a different way for an overbooked finish. I kind of liked it.
Yeah.
Because you had what looked like Nick Aldis was saying, like, hey, I'm going to throw this match out, blah, blah, blah. Like, this match has gone too out of control. And you see Orton, like, kind of, like, freaking out, pleading his case a little bit, and then RKO's everybody before Aldis could even make that decision.
Yep. And then you get R-Truth coming in to make the save.
What if R-Truth gets a championship match somewhere in this situation?
I could see it. What if R-Truth is John Cena's last match?
I'm not sure about that. I mean, at the same time, though, I kind of thought that Orton should be Cena's last match, but...
See, and I was always on the, you know what, as great as that would be, I don't want Orton to be the last match.
But well, neither did I, but it was just something I thought could happen.
Yeah, but R-Truth to a certain extent makes sense because, John Cena is his childhood hero. They've only ever gone one-on-one once before.
capital punishment in 2011. I remember that because despite everybody hating that heel turn that R-Truth did on John Morrison, I liked it.
I did too. And the fact that R-Truth has been defending John for the last few weeks, as we've seen, I think it would make sense that you get John Cena. And I mean, maybe it's not his last match, but maybe it is a championship match, and maybe that's where we get the John Cena babyface turn again.
I wonder at what point do we see John Cena take a breather with that title? Oh, John's got the mic. What an out to the show there.
Right? Wow.
Key words there, though, that John Cena had said, and it kind of triggered a thought in my head. He said, I need a real contender. And it got me thinking about some matches John Cena has yet to have. We also have another wrestler who's trying to get a retirement match this year.
Yes, we do.
John Cena, as far as I know, has never wrestled Goldberg.
No, he hasn't. Goldberg was rumored to be here tonight to potentially set up him versus Gunther.
What if that wasn't the case, though? What if Goldberg was there? Let's just say Goldberg was in that building, but what if it was there to actually sign a contract to fight John Cena at Saudi Arabia?
Right. I don't think Goldberg's last match is going to be Night of Champions. I think it's going to be SummerSlam.
Right, but if you look at what Saudi does when they have these shows, they want some big names there, and having Goldberg and John Cena,
yep,
not a bad idea. But I wonder if at the same time, and I'm just spitballing here because I think about how Saudi wants these big names. And right now, one of the biggest names is, if you say it, he will appear.
Yeah. It's a possibility.
Mm-hmm. Those are just a couple of things I'm spitballing, at least for the Saudi Arabia show. Because, like I said, with Saudi, throwback, it ended with John Cena clocking Orton with the title and taking the win.
Yep. And then coming out and saying, I don't need music, I just need competition, and I don't need you. So it'll be interesting to see who his next opponent is.
Mm-hmm. And to think of it this way too, if you do go to, if Goldberg is going to get that retirement match this year, I mean, we already talked about how if you're going to retire, you go out on your back. John Cena retains the title over Goldberg.
Yeah.
But on that note, I think it's time we hand out our socials while we talk about the show here. Trying to look for there it is. OMD. Let's get us started on this.
All right. Although a much tamer Backlash than we've had the last 2 years, still a fantastic show start to finish. I absolutely loved it. Each match delivered what it needed to and more. And more. But ladies and gentlemen, if you are looking for me, you can catch me on my link tree. linktr.ee/OMD show. And for you, Mr. Best.
All right, and I'm lagging.
You are. Thank you, Bobby. We greatly appreciate your support.
But yeah, no, I thought tonight's show was pretty to end my work day. Yeah, no, it was a great way to end the workday for me. I loved it. Just looking forward to everything that's coming out of the show. But if you want to find me at my link tree, guys, it's linktr.ee/Chris_best83. OMD. What are those famous words we like to go out on?
Ladies and gentlemen, the world is a scary place. Take care of one another. From all of us here at Turnbuckle Studios and the Turnbuckle Affiliation Program, to those of you out there wherever you are, good night, good luck, we out.